Hello, everyone. My name is Petra Lohmeyer, and welcome to the Novell podcast. Now, I haven't been online for quite a while because it's been totally crazy here. Again, I would recommend never to move here if you want to do anything with sustainability or anything that is positive for the environment, especially if you're not from here. And I only did this for somebody that I cared for who is no longer there. So we will soon be moving. The company is being shut down here, and we are going to move somewhere else and going to focus on some very different things, something very exciting that I'm very excited about, that I also always wanted to include in the mission, and that is going to be the engine going forward. But we wanted to keep on doing this, not necessarily every week anymore, because I'm focused on something else. But we have noticed that several of you have given us feedback and said that you really appreciate the posts that I post on, usually on LinkedIn, but also on other platforms. So we wanted to make it a little bit easier for people to kind of follow this and give a little bit of a summary of the best things that we have seen in the last, I'll probably do this every 2 months for the time being because we are about to move and it's going to be a little bit crazy. So this is going to be the last time out of this location. But it may be every month or every 2 months going forward. So without further ado, let's move into what I have seen in the last 2 months. So this is going to be win-win situations between nature and people, between companies and nature that make a profit as well. Why profit? Because it's scalable and people will do more of it. Some people understand the concept, some people will never understand the concept, and I can't help them. And if that is you, this podcast is not for you. Please go away. I just had a massive blow up because of that with somebody. But those people who do understand that if you do help companies to have a more sustainable solution and more sustainable way forward, and it doesn't have to be 100% right away from the start, then please do stay, because we've got quite a lot of wonderful examples of what people have created that is a real win-win situation that also brings them profit, which means that they can scale the whole thing. So let's go into this. So breaking, a biologist has developed a bag made from cassava that decomposes in water and serves as food for fish. Yeah. I mean, we've had quite a lot of plastic solutions in the past. None of them could be actually eaten by fish. So this is a wonderful thing, especially if krill is going away. Now, this is another one. This is an interesting one: dead malls and energy-hungry farms. So a solution hiding in plain sight. So we have all seen different department stores and different big stores go away and having problems to keep their the stores inside because they're just not profitable anymore, and everybody can go to Amazon and just order what they need and don't, I do the same thing because then I can save so much time when I don't have to go to these stores and look for something that I want, and I never find the right thing. And it's nice to have these stores, but it is kind of a nice to have, right? But these big buildings are still existing, and we can use them for vertical farming, literally, and put these food farms in there, which is absolutely beautiful because then you cut all the emissions from the transportation and you have very fresh food there. And some supermarkets are already doing this. I've shared this before. This is wind energy from everywhere. I have no idea how well this works, but apparently it does work. So you can check it out on my LinkedIn site, and the link is going to be below somewhere. This is Bring Solar. This is actually a film that is much easier to fix onto things than these big solar panels, and it can be wrapped around things. At the moment, it is not necessarily profitable yet, but all solutions start relatively expensive. I mean, including everything that Elon Musk does. And then when it goes into mass production and it is kind of sorted out how to get the supply chain going properly and everything, and it goes into bigger numbers, then the numbers come down. So this could be a good possibility for you to invest if you're an investor. This is furniture made out of rice husks, and they're literally making everything that you usually use wood for. especially these wood panels that are really not very good because they also leak toxins into the environment, but they are making this out of rice husks. So I thought that this was really, really interesting, a really interesting innovation. Now, this is just simply good news, so because some of us really need some good news in between. Colombia has banned all new oil and mining projects in its Amazon rainforest, protecting an area covering 42% of the country, roughly the size of Sweden. Because let's face it, you cannot trust oil companies to do the right thing. And I know that from very close to home. Let's just say it that way. Now, the next thing is Peter Diamandis just announced Vision X Prize, which I thought was really cool. And this is my vision. So, a vision for the future, because a lot of people don't have a real vision for the future. They just know what they don't want, what they're afraid of. So, we always need a vision for the future. Companies usually have it, but what is our vision for the future? How do we want the future to look like if it's absolutely perfect? And I found it a long time ago in a Stargate SG-1 series, actually. I mean, this is not as crazy as it seems. A lot of these technical advances that we have now are actually advances that were first discussed in Star Trek. Now, this is Stargate SG-1, and it is the Nox revealing their city. And if you know the series, it is in the first series of Stargate. There is these people are going through this kind of wormhole kind of thing, this team SG-1. And they coming to this planet, and there's this planet, and there's these, kind of hippies, kind of nature people, and they look like indigenous people, and they don't take them seriously, and they have like these huts and stuff, and but there's also these weird insects in the air that go away. Well, turns out that these Nog are actually very in tune with nature and are protecting nature and are real guardians of nature on their planet, but at the same time, they are also incredibly advanced technologically. And that is a real interesting thing. So my little boy wants to have my attention, I see. Hold on a second. I will just give it to him real quick. And I'm back. Next thing. This is an interesting thing. There is a play app where you can play and earn real goodies for real rescue homes. So you play on this app and do all kinds of stuff. And then when you, I don't know exactly how it works, but at some point when you have enough points, you actually do give automatically goodies to a real dog in a shelter. So this is really beautiful, isn't it? It's a really nice way to raise money if people are on their computer anyway. Now, this is a vision by Peter Diamandis about what he thinks the Star Trek future could be. So the positive future could be, because as said before, there's always so much talk about a negative future. And he also says how this could work when all these people are losing their jobs. How do you, well, how do you give people a purpose? Because it's not even about the money, because the money part could actually be sorted out, but a lot of people find their purpose in work. So this is kind of his vision, and you can read this through either here if you just stop the video, or if you go onto LinkedIn, and then you can sign up to his newsletter as well. I can really recommend that. That is a really, really interesting newsletter. Now, the next thing, I have no idea if this works. This is clean energy is taking flight in China. I have no idea if this wind turbine actually works, but apparently it does. So, I mean, it could be an AI trick, but you can look it up. It's certainly an out of the box idea. Now, I thought this was really good news because Ocean Eye, it sees that if it gets this much attention, then the ocean is really at the forefront of the attention of those who are making policy in the world. And I thought that was a good thing to show. It's just positive news again, because we always get these bad news hits from everywhere else. Now, this is baking soda raises the pH on leaf surfaces, creating an alkaline environment that hinders fungal spores from developing. So this is one of the big problems that I've seen that I never hear in the media anywhere, but It's not just the farms that are spreading poison and polluting everything and killing off the insects that we need. It's the normal gardeners, and they're the worst ones. If you go into a garden center, I mean, it looks like it's like a kill, kill, kill center. When you walk in some garden centers, you've got like aisles and aisles of poison in the front before you even get to the plants. I mean, people shouldn't be able to use poison in their own garden. It's not just bad for the insects, it's bad for us, it's bad for the pets that are running around. I mean, it's why on earth has is this even allowed? You know, and this is a great alternative. So this is a guy who seems to know quite a lot about forestry and about sustainable solutions. So I recommend that you follow him because he's got some really nice ideas in that area, and there's so much out there. Now, what is this? Oh, this is an AI thing, and this is a podcast that I can really recommend to you if you want to be at the forefront of things. It may be a little bit much for some of you who are just in the beginning of AI, but they are discussing where they're seeing this going, and it's going so fast at the moment. These are people who are really at the front of where this is and who are explaining their view of it. And I try to follow it. I don't always look at the podcast, but it is a really incredibly good podcast to follow. Now, this is brilliant. This is a company that's turning waste into fuel of the future. So this is all kinds of different organic waste everywhere, cooking oils and all kinds of things, and they're turning this into fuel. So you don't even have to plant anything anywhere. They're just taking what the waste is anyway and turning it into fuel. I thought this was a really Back to the Future moment, if you know the movie, where he puts the can of Coke into the car and then the car flies away. I mean, far away from it, are we? Hydrogen on rails. Now that was interesting. Japan's first hydrogen train runs clean and emits only water vapor with no smoke, no carbon pollution. So this is incredibly interesting. This is just for your swimming pool. If you really want to have a swimming pool in your garden that is sustainable and that is beautiful, I've actually seen this kind of swimming pool at my local vets, I'm pretty sure. I didn't actually ask him about it, but it's exactly like this. It's beautiful. I would love it. This is an example of flexibility, which is lacking in a lot of places. A lot of places get flooded at the moment because the weather is changing, and they think that it's the end of the world. Well, there are areas in the world where the flood comes all the time, like the monsoon, for example, and with these farmers as well. I don't know exactly where this is. Take a look at the post on my LinkedIn site, then you can see it. They know that the flood comes every year, so they have developed these floating kind of I don't know mud things, mud floats. I mean, they're pretty long. I think it looks like about 30 meters, 30 yards long. And then they plant stuff on it, and they've got the water right around. They just have to splash it to water the plants, and it seems to be working well for them. So this is just an idea of how to adjust, and that adjusting is really a matter of flexibility, and flexibility is going to be incredibly important in future. And I've just seen an example of extremely unflexible people who are a real danger to the people around them, and who are real aggressive about everybody staying the same, and that is a real danger. That is the biggest danger probably for everyone, for especially for people who want to create a better future, and in the end for all of us, because they could block it. There are. I just talked to somebody who actually thought that if somebody is different, then that is a bad thing. There was just somebody sitting around. She wasn't hurting anyone. She was just doing what she usually does in her culture. She was probably on the phone. We didn't even hear the phone, and he couldn't get around her sitting there because he thought that she wanted to show that she's different. She's different. What's wrong with that? That is, if you see something different, that is a great thing to look at because it may give you an idea. That's where innovation comes from. That is how Europe developed and much faster than a lot of the other continents because they got ideas from other. It was the trade route was much longer than in other continents, and on an island, for example. So more and more ideas, different things that are different, came across, so people could build on these ideas. That's the whole idea of not only diversity. Diversity isn't something that, where you have to compromise, just with the environment. It is something that you can actually benefit from, but some people will never hear that. Um, anyway, so on a more positive note, Canada has given the go-ahead for a whale sanctuary along the coast of Nova Scotia, creating a safe haven for whales once kept in captivity, which is absolutely beautiful. Because I mean, take a look at this. This is probably created by AI, but still, it is really a transformative shift in the whole idea. Now, this Norway is cultivating large seaweed farms to absorb atmospheric CO2 while developing renewable biofuels. That is a new initiative that I've seen in Norway a couple of times now already, which is beautiful. China's underwater data centers are saving 40% on energy. Now, I'm not entirely sure how excited I am about this. I mean, they're putting these data centers underwater in order to cool them there, which means there's no polluting, which sounds good, but I mean, the ocean is heating up at the moment. So I don't think you can put too many data centers in there. Otherwise, you may have real detrimental effects on the environment because they are heating quite a bit. But I mean, somebody else would have to take a look at this, and scientists would have to take a look at how much you can put underneath there so you don't accelerate what is already happening in the oceans at the moment. But as an interim solution until you are in the sky and in space, that may actually not be a bad idea if you keep it, if you don't do too much of it. Now this is charcoal. It used to be chopped down trees, but it doesn't have to. So these are also people are doing this rice husks as well, which is also really interesting. Another post on LinkedIn. Now, this livestock only eat dry hay. Think again. So this is, I think I've already shared this at some point, but I thought it was still interesting. In Texas, actually grow this indoors, I think, and then feed livestock with it, which is beautiful and which is quite easily done. Now, the state in India officially bans pesticides, and I think Sikkim, India, and they completely ban pesticides. So it is possible, and I really love this because there's a lot of going on with Sadhguru in India, where he's showing farmers how to um, uh, farm sustainably again. It is, if you take a look at Sadhguru's websites, there's so much that he has done in the last 20, 30 years in this area where it used to be completely devoid of life or almost completely devoid of life, and farmers were killing themselves by the thousands. And now he has created a state where things are improved significantly. So I think I'll put the link underneath here somewhere. This is beautiful. So police lets residents pay off parking tickets with cat food instead of cash. And then they donate it to the local shelter. That is also beautiful. And apparently they got more cat food than they had actual parking tickets, and people just gave even more. So that is a really beautiful thing. Now, something just flashed by here. Ethiopia to plant 7.5 billion trees in 2025, or probably did. So this must be an older post. So this is again good news, which is beautiful. Now this is lighting your home with seawater. For some reason, the image has been cut off here. Apparently, you can actually make a little. So it looked like a little glass, and there was something in there, and it explains to you here how this works. And you can just use seawater and make a little candle out of it. Seawater, magnesium, and copper plates inside. Ionization creates electricity instantly in up to 45 days of continuous light. Isn't that cool? Um, So this one was a magical mushroom company, and it's not about psilocybin or whatever, but it's about replacing cholesterol. And they are doing this. It's made from mycelium and hemp sources from agricultural waste. So that is also, again, a replaced plastic solution. And I hope you like this. This is the last few ones that I saw here on my LinkedIn site. Just it may give you an idea for something that you want to do. It may give you an idea for something that you want to build on, or something where you want to supply them. Or it may just make you feel good that there's so much out there where people are actually finding solutions that are not only just sustainable, but that actually help the environment actively. So I thought this was a really good news podcast. And again, this is going to happen every 1 or 2 months from now on. At least that's what I'm planning in my life. You never know what's going to happen, but this is a really good initiative still. And thank you very much for supporting us. I've seen that quite a few more followers have come, quite a few more people have looked at our posts, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you.